Every part of my body was just convulsing on the ground. I heard some of them say, why is he shaking? Is he having a seizure? Maybe we should take him to the hospital. A bad time, bad place, bad experience, everything about it is just bad. Aloha everyone and welcome to Skincare with Hyram. If you do not know me, my name is Hyram and I am passionate about teaching you how to perfect your skincare routine. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every single time I upload. Skincare is one of my passions and so much fun, and I would love to share all that I have learned with you. I have been so bad about uploading videos regularly and I'm so sorry about that. Life has been crazy. But if you are new here, my name is Hyram and I am passionate about skincare. My goal in this YouTube channel is to teach you how to perfect your skincare routine. I'm also excited because I get to highlight a nonprofit organization that I'm very passionate about within this video. They are called Akin Clothing and they create t-shirts that when you buy a t-shirt, a child around the world receives a school uniform so that they're able to go to school in their home country. I know the founder of the organization and he is amazing, and the purpose of this organization is just incredible. It's really all about empowering children with an education, and here's one of the t-shirts that they sell. Make more stories. I love the concept of this shirt because each one of us has stories, as well as each one of the children that these shirts will be providing school uniforms to. So check out the link in my description to akinclothing.com. Make sure you check out their website and please get a t-shirt because they're amazing. Anyway, so I tried to do a story time and get ready with me one time before, but the lighting was super funky in my room and it made like my pupils disappear because of my ring light, and I look like I have no soul the entire time I'm talking, which is really creepy. Let me know if you guys have any tips about lighting because I cannot figure it out for the life of me. I have a ring light, I've tried natural daylight, nothing is working, so let me know if you have any suggestions in the comment section below. I tried to do one of these videos before, it failed, so now I'm trying a different story while you guys get ready with me. I have already showered, gotten ready, I shaved, but I haven't done my skincare routine, and I'll be highlighting that the entire time as I tell this story to you. Let's get into it. So for my cleanser, I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Perfectly Cleanse Gel. So last summer I had the opportunity to go to a small, tiny little country in the South Pacific called Vanuatu. Now, if you don't know what Vanuatu is, don't worry, you and pretty much everyone else on the planet doesn't know what Vanuatu is. But I had the opportunity to go there on 2 separate occasions to do some amazing life-changing work. I was able to be a teacher at an elementary school there, as well as live in the jungle with the people. Now, Vanuatu is an incredible country that I love. It's also very simple. The people tend to live in the jungle, a lot of times like in huts or houses that they create themselves. They get their food from the land and from the trees, and they're very happy to live there with that life. And it was amazing because I got to go there and live there for a month while I was teaching English, and they're just some of the most happy people that I've ever seen. And when we're so used to seeing things about like how life is so bad for people in like every kind of third world country, it helped me realize that that's not always the case. Let me go rinse my cleanser off. Jeez, my nose makes me look like Rudolph. Next, I'll be using this Estee Lauder brand new product. It's the Day Wear Eye. It's a cooling gel for the under eye area. So Vanuatu is classified as a fourth world country, meaning that the people rely solely on the land for much of what they need in their life. Now, because of this, the country does not offer a lot of the luxuries that we're able to afford in America, like adequate health care for really severe health consequences. I knew this going into the country, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal because I don't really have a lot of health issues, and I didn't figure that I'd have one while there, so it really wasn't a big deal. Boy, was I wrong. So I came into the country and I was there for about 2 weeks, and it was just smooth sailing pretty much the entire time. I really didn't have an issue with any health problems. It wasn't too big of a deal. I was honestly just really enjoying my time there. So there was one night that I had gone to sleep. I was feeling a little cold that night, which Vanuatu is a pretty warm country, but that night I was just like, ooh, I'm feeling kind of cold. I don't know if I feel super good. You know, I'm just gonna go to bed. And so I went to bed pretty early, I think around like 9 or 10. I managed to sleep pretty well, but in the middle of the night, I was getting really cold, so I was just like bringing all of my clothes onto my bed so that I could warm up because I just really was not feeling good. And I remember throughout the night, I'd wake up and I'd be moaning and moaning because I was just like, oh my gosh, my stomach does not feel good. I don't know what's going on. And then I wake up and I just have this overwhelming thought that it's just like, oh my goodness, throw up, Hyram, you need to throw up, get out, get out. Of course, me being the conscious person I am, I do not want to throw up on the bed or anything, so I turn over and I proceed to vomit all over the floor. Ugh, vomit is like, ugh, not something I like to talk about, so I will just be very uncomfortable while I'm talking about this. I am not the kind of person when I vomit, oh, these are such gross details. I am not the kind of person to vomit just like, bleh. When I vomit, it sounds like I am releasing like a devil spirit. I'm just like, Wah! Like it's crazy. I wake up everyone around me. So of course, me being in the tiny little village that I was with the chief of the village and everything, like everyone woke up. I was throwing up so loudly that everyone was just like, what's going on? The villagers and family members and other participants that I was with began coming down, and they're kind of like surrounding me, just like, oh man, is he okay? Is he gonna be okay? But you know, they're just kind of like, oh, you know, he's just throwing up, not a big deal. That's when it started to get a little crazy and a little weird, because honestly, getting sick while traveling to another country is completely normal. I'm forgetting I'm doing a skincare routine. On to my next step, I'm gonna be using the Trish McAvoy moisturizer with SPF 30 for my dry cheek zone. It's pretty normal to get sick in third world countries, and the reason is because a lot of times the food or water is not properly sanitized before you eat it, and because our bodies are not accustomed to, say, the germs that are present within that country, it can be like really rough on our bodies. So it's pretty normal to get sick, and honestly I've gotten sick when I traveled to other countries before, so not really a huge deal. So as I was throwing up, I was just like, okay, you know, this happens, it sucks, whatever, I'm gonna get through it. After I finish retching, I turn onto my back and I'm laying on the dirt in the ground, and I still feel so sick to my stomach, so I'm moaning, but then I start like shaking uncontrollably. The closest thing I can think of is that it was like a seizure. I was like convulsing. My whole body, every part of my body was just convulsing on the ground, and I was completely conscious. Oh, I just poked myself in the eye. I was completely conscious for this whole experience, and I remember that I didn't even feel cold. I didn't feel like super sick. I was just convulsing over my entire body, and I was so mad at myself because I was like, Hyram, everyone's watching you, stop convulsing. You're making a scene. But I couldn't control my body, and they saw. But no matter what I could do, I couldn't stop shaking, and I would go back from laying on my back to turning over and retching into the dirt right next to me, and I'd go back and forth, but each time I was just like seizing uncontrollably. And this is when everyone was down around me, literally in a circle around me, just staring at me, talking about what they should do. I didn't really hear a lot of what they were saying because I was, you know, busy throwing up and shaking uncontrollably, but I managed to get a good amount of what they said. Next, I'm going in with the Origins moisturizer for my oily T-zone. This stuff is the bomb. I recommend it for anyone with oily skin. I heard some of them say, oh, like, why is he shaking? Is he having a seizure? What's going on? Some of them were like, maybe we should take him to the hospital, but the thing was that the hospital was like, I think like a 45-minute drive away, and it's like over bumpy roads that I definitely would not have been able to make without like throwing up the entire way. Also, the hospital has very basic amenities, so nothing to treat anything really severe beyond like what you come across with day-to-day sicknesses and childbirth as well. And keep in mind, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning, so this is just a bad time, bad place, bad experience. Everything about it is just bad. So they're talking about what to do. They pull up the truck because they're about to take me, and I just still cannot stop uncontrollably seizing on the ground, and I'm just mad at myself, and everyone's kind of like getting really nervous. The little kids are there, they're kind of poking fun at me, laughing at me because I look so funny, and honestly I was kind of like wanting to chuckle with them because I'm like, oh yeah, I probably look like an idiot right now. So this experience wasn't traumatizing, but it definitely did suck. I did not like it. Then the coolest thing happened. So as I'm on the ground shaking, we're about to take me to the hospital to figure out what we can do. The chief of the village is just like, wait. And he goes and he walks up behind the house, and I don't really see what he's doing because I'm laying on the ground, but when he comes back, he has roots of a plant in his hands. And I see these like tiny little roots, and then he puts it in his mouth and begins chewing the roots down. I'm just kind of watching like, just gonna snack while I'm shaking on the ground. Oh, okay. But I just honestly don't know what's going on, and he passes the roots to some of the other people that were around me. And so they chew it, and then he kneels right down next to me, and this is gonna sound like crazy weird, but I promise this is 100% real, 100% legitimate, and I thought it was like the coolest experience ever. He begins spitting all over my body. I know, right? Spitting, that sounds crazy, but here's why it was amazing. So the stuff that he had chewed in his mouth, when it was sprayed on me through his spit, It was like he was spraying icy hot all over me. Like it felt so cooling to the skin, so relieving. And so he would spit on my arm and then rub my arm. And just rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it. And my arm, which was like shaking like this, became totally still, while the rest of my body is continuing to shake. And then a lady, she spits on my other arm, begins rubbing the solution into my arm, and that arm's shaking. And they did this for every single part of my body, excluding my face, thankfully. But they did this for like every part of my body until all of me had stopped shaking. I still felt sick to my stomach, mind you, but the other really cool thing about this is that the scent from the root smelled so good that it like instantly calmed my sick stomach. So this magical root somehow managed to stop me from like uncontrollably shaking or seizing or whatever you want to call it on the ground, and also put my sick stomach to rest so that I was like totally fine. And the whole time they were doing this, I feel like someone normal would have been like, ew, that's so disgusting, get the spit off me. But no, honestly, the whole time I was just like, this is so cool. How many people in the world can say they went to the middle of the jungle in a tiny little country, started having seizures, and then were spit on by the chief of tribes with a special root that stops me from being uncontrollably sick? Like, ugh, that's just the coolest thing ever. If I remember right, I continued to spend the rest of the night outside on the dirt. I think I only threw up like 2 more times, but I didn't seize at all again. And I had people like watching over me for the rest of the time because they were still like, are we gonna go to the hospital? Are we not? What's going on? But yeah, and by morning I managed to feel somewhat better, and the next day, like by afternoon, I was just up walking and running around like nothing had even happened to me at all. Do I ever think I'll have that experience again? Probably not. That was a very rare experience, but just so freaking cool. Over the course of the rest of my time in Vanuatu, I was pretty much fine. I didn't get sick, but that moment was one of the crazy experiences that I had while I was there, and it stuck out in my mind, and I thought I would just share it with you because, I mean, why would you ever pass up a story about vomiting and uncontrollable seizures? Kidding aside, I'm really glad I'm safe, and I'm really glad nothing happened to me because I was in such a tiny country away from a lot of the medical supplies that we have in the United States, as well as more technologically advanced countries. If something really bad had happened to me, I don't know if I would be all right. But thankfully, thanks to the kindness of the people in Vanuatu, which I absolutely love, as well as their genius ways of using natural resources in order to help heal me, it was a pretty cool experience. Let me know if you guys like these Storytime videos. I have a couple more crazy stories that are like way more insane than this, but I kind of wanted to save them because I wasn't sure if this was going to be something that people actually liked or not. So let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed this video, and I will be sure to make some if a lot of you do like it. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every single time I upload a video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram or Snapchat or any of the other social media sites because I would love to chat with you there. Thanks, guys.